Alright, so the lockdown project. So I currently live in Wollongong, Australia. It's about an hour south of Sydney. And we are currently going through a crazy COVID lockdown thing. You've probably heard about it. It's pretty extreme.
For these lockdowns.
Lockdown will be extended.
Anyway, for a 2-week period, the construction industry were told tools down, Scotty Cam style. Stay at home, no work.
Tools down!
Kind of strange, we'd been in lockdowns last year, however, the construction industry was always able to roll on, but not this time around. So it got me thinking, do I spend 2 weeks taking a breather, putting my feet up and relaxing? Yeah, I got into a lockdown project. I could not help myself. So there's currently a space in my backyard and it just wasn't really working for us. We have like this big curved day bed. The other thing was I had nowhere to like barbecue on the deck really, because you know, it's Australia, that's what you do. You drink beers and you barbecue outside. So I needed to get with it. My goal was to create a barbecue space. That was number one. I also wanted to create some sort of a bench seat with some firewood storage. I also wanted to spend minimal dollars. So the idea is in this little corner of the garden, I kind of wanted to remove the garden bed. I also wanted to remove the day bed completely. I wanted to build a barbecue space that would fit a Kamado style grill. I wanted to do polished concrete bench tops. We've been doing them a bit at work and I love it. It's fairly cheap to do and it looks awesome. Now the first thing I needed to do was to prepare the base. So once I removed the day bed, I needed to lay some pavers. So I've got these 800 by 400 basalt pavers. I laid that on a bed of gravel with like a wet sand and cement mix. Next thing I had to do was frame up the barbecue. With the concrete, I wanted the concrete to have a drop face, so it appeared from the front to be, you know, 100 mil, 110 mil thick, like really substantial. In reality, it's only 110 mil thick at the very front of the bench top. It's actually only around 50 mil thick throughout, and the front of the bench top drops down to give that illusion of a nice chunky concrete bench top. Saves on material, saves on the weight, saves on everything. Once I had all the formwork done, I dropped in some mesh, had some Rio dropped in as well, and I literally just used this high strength concrete. I think it's made by Dingo. You can buy it at Bunnings, about 10 bucks a bag. I think I used about 20 bags from memory. Mixed it all up by hand, poured it in. Now the key with this is to follow the instructions on the bag and use as little water as possible, just over 2 liters per bag. So it makes mixing it like really hard by hand, but you end up with a much stronger, higher MPa concrete. I basically let that cure for only a day or two. Strip the forms, I couldn't wait. So I just stripped the forms. 48 hours after the pour, I was knocking the top off that concrete surface, grinding it back to expose the aggregate. So once that was done, I then fit all the LOSP, I built the hardwood bench seat, got the firewood storage underneath, and then all I had to really do was paint. Now I had a few recycled pavers left over, grabbed a bunch of them, I've sat them in vertically, and that sort of just created like a little backsplash area, and it also ties in with some recycled pavers I've got around our property. Once that was on, I cut in a design pine LOSP shelf that sits directly over the recycled bricks, and that kind of just acts like a shelf slash backsplash. And yeah, that is pretty much it, guys. That is my lockdown project. I literally finished the project on the Sunday night and went back to work on the Monday. So it wasn't much of a break for me. I just worked my ass off, but I got this really cool space now in my backyard that we use all the time. So I've turned it from a space that we used a little bit to a space that we use a lot. So all in all, I've got to call that one a success. The whole build only cost me about $200, $250, and that was mainly for the concrete, some mesh and some Rio. literally everything else I had laying around. So for that amount of money, I'm pretty happy with it. Anyway guys, that is the lockdown project. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you guys in the next one.